Hey guys, it's Michelle Tam of Nom Nom Paleo and welcome to my kitchen. Today, like every Wednesday, I come on live and show you how to cook something. And today I'm showing you how to make the latest recipe on my blog and app. It is the Instant Pot Chinese beef stew, which utilizes my all-purpose stir-fry sauce, which I tell you guys all the time is indispensable because you can use it in stir-fries, you can use it to make parchment-wrapped chicken, you can use it in stews, you can use it as a salad dressing, you use it as marinades. I mean, you should always have a bottle ready in your fridge or even in your freezer. Like I freeze it, I put it in ice cube molds, it's perfect. So I can just pop out a cube whenever I need it. So first, before we start, this is Ollie, my younger son. He helps out a little bit while I'm cooking. Owen, my older son, mans the camera and he will read out questions that I can't see because I'm cooking. And then Lauren is our master builder behind the scenes and he will type answers to all your questions. So again, this is our Instant Pot Chinese beef stew. And for one of you guys who's tuning in live today, you're gonna win some chomps. And no, you're not just winning one. You're gonna win a 30 pack that's like assorted flavors. And these are Whole30 approved. All of the meat is sourced fantastically and tastes really good. And they're like fancy, like good for you Slim Jims. So I actually have one of these in my backpack along with a can of sardines at all time because if I'm hungry, this way I always have something to eat. But I actually run out of these a lot faster because the sardines I don't always want to eat, but it's there just in case. But anyway, so one of you just comment or say hello during the broadcast, and Lauren at the end of the broadcast will pick someone randomly and we will get your mailing address and you'll get shipped a bunch of chomps. So this is a super easy recipe and I almost didn't even make it a real recipe, except everyone kept on asking me for it. I was like, oh, I wrote it in my Instagram post one time, how to make this stew. But I got so many requests, I was like, okay, I will make it an actual official recipe on the blog. So I've heated up my Instant Pot on the saute function. All that means is now I can sear in here and I can saute in here. And this metal insert is hot. I will add a little bit of avocado oil. And you can use whatever oil you want. I like avocado oil. I've been experimenting with algae oil, which I think sounds really promising. Yeah, olive oil I like also, ghee. Oh, okay, so this is one onion, thinly sliced. Can you plop that in for me? And you can stir it around. That's good, that's good. You don't need like every little tiny. And so whenever I make this, I use whatever onions I have. So I either have onions or shallots. If I don't have any, it's still fine. It doesn't, this is a really magical stew that as long as you have all-purpose stir-fry sauce, you can mix and match the type of onions that you put in. You can mix and match the type of meat that you put in. So this is 3.5 pounds of chuck roast that I've cubed myself. And I seasoned it with a little bit of salt. But you can use any braising cut. You can use pork shoulder that you've cubed up. You can use brisket that you've cubed up. You can use short ribs. You can use chicken thighs. You can use lamb shoulder. Like, the world is your oyster. You can use oxtails. Like, anything that you would braise, you can kind of use this whole same kind of ratio of ingredients. Yes, Owen?
Could you make this stew without an Instant Pot?
Yes. In my recipe post, just go to nomnompaleo.com, it's the latest recipe. I give you slow cooker instructions, I give you stovetop instructions, I also give you how to braise it in the oven instructions. So you don't need an Instant Pot, but the Instant Pot is the fastest way that you can get this on the table. So it's probably start to finish like 90 minutes maybe, but it only takes like 15 minutes hands-on time. And so for some people, like 90 minutes is a little bit too long for them to wait for dinner on a weeknight. So you can throw everything into your Instant Pot in the morning because it only takes about 15 minutes. And then it'll cook and depressurize and keep warm until you get home. and then you can add the root vegetables into the Instant Pot at that time. Or you can make it ahead and chill it and keep it in the fridge and reheat it when you want to. It's a very versatile stew. Okay, so then next I'm gonna put in some minced garlic. And I think in my recipe I say like 4, or I don't know. I think I randomly just gave a number of garlic cloves, but it's really however much garlic you like and however much you have. And I actually have a ginormous thing of garlic from Costco that's already pre-peeled, so I just go crazy with the garlic. That's okay. It'll all get, even if it's not fully minced, you can even smash some garlic and just throw it in. You can throw in whole, no, just keep it.
Okay.
You can have whole garlic cloves in here because when you cook it under pressure, it'll all soften and be delicious.
Someone said, thanks for the variety of methods to make these recipes.
Oh, no problem.
Another thing is, what is in your Instant Pot in the back?
Oh, it is a completed stew, so you guys can see what it looks like. Okay, so the onions, I'm just sauteing until they're a little softened. They're not caramelized or anything. I'm going to put in the meat. Okay, I can just plop it in. And stir it around. And the meat has been seasoned with a little bit of salt. I have 4 dried shiitake mushrooms straight from my pantry. You don't have to soak these because they will get softened in the Instant Pot. I throw these in because it adds lots of delicious flavor. If they're a little dirty, you can rinse them. Because sometimes there's a little bit of dirt on them. So I just throw those in. And then I have half a cup of my all-purpose stir-fry sauce.
So,
stir it around so that if there's anything stuck on the bottom, here, let me see. If there's anything stuck on the bottom, you just kind of, make sure the liquid gets to the bottom. And people are always like, you're only adding half a cup. I thought my Instant Pot manual says you have to add at least a cup of liquid. And, the meat and the onions release a ton of liquid, and so it's totally okay. Like a half a cup is more than enough because the meat is going to release a ton of liquid. It'll be enough liquid to reach high pressure. And if it isn't enough liquid, your Instant Pot will say, not enough, can't reach pressure. And then you can open it up and add a little bit extra liquid if you need to. But don't just by default just plop in like a cup or a cup and a half of liquid because a lot of times it dilutes the flavors of your stew because nothing gets evaporated because everything is sealed and cooked under pressure. So just trust me. If my recipe says just use half a cup, just use half a cup because I've tested it many, many times and my recipes have been cooked by many, many people. And if it didn't work, I would fix it right away so that nobody would be mad. Yes?
So what do you think about mixing lamb and beef on this recipe, or in this recipe, sorry?
Mixing lamb and beef.
Yeah.
I don't know, that might be good. Sometimes lamb can be a little strong, so I don't always mix the two of them, but I bet it would be delicious. If you're used to mixing them and you like how it tastes, then you should totally do it. Okay, so I'm gonna cancel it off of saute, and that's it. Like, this is all the work that I had to do. And there was stuff that you didn't see, like I had to chop up the chuck roast and I cut up the onion, but that doesn't take that much time. Yes?
Is this in one of your cookbooks?
No, this is on the blog and on the app because this is a brand new recipe that I just put on there on Sunday. So just go to nomnompaleo.com or go to my iPhone or iPad app called Nom Nom Paleo and you'll find it. All right, so this is the part of the Instant Pot that everyone always should, I always tell people it's very, very safe, but the reason why it's safe is because of this silicone gasket, and as long as it is in good shape and it's tucked in here really well, everything is honky-dory. So I'm just gonna put the lid on, and then you turn it to lock it, and it has like a nice little sound. Dude, stop. It's locked. Okay. And so then I'm gonna switch to pressure cook And your display might be different. This is the Instant Pot Ultra. This is my favorite model. But I also have the Instant Pot Dual Plus, which is my second favorite model. And that one you just press buttons. And this one you use the dial to kind of change things. And so I'm going to pressure cook it for 35 minutes under high pressure. And it'll probably take maybe 5-10 minutes to reach high pressure. And that's when the 35-minute countdown starts. And then after it's finished cooking, then I let the pressure drop naturally. But if you're impatient, then you can wait 15 minutes after it's done cooking and then release it. And the way I normally do it is I just put it under my vent. I turn on the vent, and so when I release the pressure, it all goes up into the valve. So this here is a stew that I actually showed people how to make on my Instagram live, because as I was telling them, like, oh, I have to make, I'm going to do a clean one. I like to have you guys on with me for 90 minutes would be torture for you guys. So this is a stew that I had finished cooking. After it had depressurized, I added in some daikon and carrots. And then I programmed this to cook for 3 minutes under high pressure. And when that was done, I manually released the pressure. And so this is all done now. Yes?
What size are your Instant Pots?
They are 6 quarts. I have a 10 quart, I mean not a 10 quart. I have an 8 quart as well, but I almost always use my 6 quarts. And we are a family of 4. I always make enough for at least like 6 people at a time. So I think this 6 quart, and most people's recipes are written for a 6 quart, but this is all done. I don't know if you guys can see this. Dun, 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 dun. I will ladle this out. And then all of the vegetables, even with just 3 minutes, they should be nice and fork tender. And if they aren't fork tender, just cook it for another 2 minutes, and it's fine. And let me grab a container. And then people always ask, like, well, what if I don't want to, what if I don't want to use daikon, or what if I can't find daikon? You don't need to use daikon. You can use potatoes. You can use all carrots. If you don't want root vegetables and you want to just put green vegetables in here, as soon as it's done, you take the lid off, and then because it's going to be bubbling and super hot in there, you can throw in some baby spinach and just stir until it's wilted. If it does require a little bit of cooking, like you have some heartier greens, just turn on the saute function and just kind of cook it until it's tender. Yes?
Could you use both daikon and potatoes, and would it taste okay with multiple kinds of veggies?
Yeah, I think it would taste good with whatever you want in here, because the sauce gets infused with like the meat and the onions and the garlic and the shiitake mushrooms. So it's a really nice savory sauce. You can throw in whatever you want. Like another really simple way to kind of bulk up vegetables, and if you don't have time to wash and cook vegetables, is just grab a bag of frozen vegetables, like your favorite frozen medley, and dump it in and cook until it's hot.
So here are 2 questions about air fryers. So do you prefer your Breville Smart Oven or your air fryer? And
that's a good question.
Do you recommend an air fryer, and will you make recipes for it?
Okay, so I just bought a new air fryer. So I do have a Breville Smart Oven Air, which does have an air fryer function, but I just bought myself a Philips TurboStar Advance air fryer, because there are so many recipes. I was like, oh, this would be kind of fun to check out. And the Philips does work better as an air fryer than the Breville. But I still love the Breville. It's just that if you use the air fryer function on the Smart Oven Air, it gets really dirty in there. So I never want to use it in that that way. Whereas the Philips, once it's done, I can throw it in the dishwasher. But the Philips has a really small capacity, and I heard that the XL version is really not that much more in terms of capacity, so I just got the regular. And so it's not, I don't know, I think that it's fun to play around with. I am working on a crackling chicken version from the Philips. Like, you guys tried it. It was like pretty good, right? And it was like mess free. But you can only make like 3 chicken thighs at a time. So I will experiment a little bit with it, but I know not everybody has an air fryer, so I'm not gonna make you guys go out and buy a new appliance. So I might do it on recipes that I already have alternative methods to cook it, like the crackling chicken that, you know, we can all do. So I'm gonna scoop up. Oh, and so, someone says, would daikon and potatoes be a good combination?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I think some people, I like daikon because my mom, when she would make beef stew, she always put in daikon and carrots. And so this is kind of, I don't know, reminds me of her stews. And the thing about daikon is it totally absorbs the flavor of the sauce, which potatoes do as well, but I think daikon is a lower carb vegetable. So if people are worried about, you know, carbs or they're diabetic, it might be a better choice.
So that's basically it, right?
That's it. See? Super simple. And I know that I kind of skipped some steps because, you know, this was already ready, but here, I'll let you guys try some. Then you guys can tell people. But you guys have had this a lot.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like, it'll be good.
Put some scallions on it. Oh, and then I also talk about in my blog post how I change this into a leftover makeover. So I say this makes 6 servings, but probably make closer to 8 servings. And so after I fed the 4 of us one meal, what the heck are you doing? Whatever is left over, I turn into a soup. And so then I add maybe like 6 cups of broth into the Instant Pot. I add the remainder of the stew. I throw in a bunch of vegetables, and then it becomes a really hearty vegetable soup with some meat. So we might have to kind of supplement with something else to get a little more protein, but it's super easy and delicious. So I'm gonna, are you gonna eat out of this? The one you eat all over your face? Here, so you can try a piece here. And then, and you guys, if you're like Ollie, do you like daikon or you think it's okay?
What's daikon?
The white thing, the white.
Oh, I thought that was a potato.
No, but it doesn't.
Okay,
It
so,
doesn't
you know.
taste like potato. Here, I'll give this to. So I make this all the time, and you can change it up, and it'll be delicious. But it's super simple. I think that's it. Are there any other questions? Otherwise, I'm going to have Lauren pick a winner to win a variety pack of Whole30 friendly chomps, which are a super tasty and healthy way to have portable meat on the go. How's it all, Ollie?
It's good.
Yeah, see, and we have, so people are like, what do you serve with this? So I also talk about this in the blog post because people ask this question a lot. So like, you can have, the kids eat regular rice. I don't normally eat rice that often because it spikes my blood sugar, but we have cauli rice, you can have broccoli rice. I also roasted some broccoli, so you can just have it with roasted broccoli. And that's, yes?
All right, so we have our winner.
Yay!
Our winner for this week's Facebook Live is Kimberly Joe.
Yay, Kimberly! You will be very excited about these chomps. So, just like last week, please, you know, DM me or respond to the email from Lauren within 48 hours with your mailing address so we can get your chomps to you. And that's it. Thanks, Owen, Ollie, and Lauren, and have a nice day. Bye, guys.